First Contact and the Galactic Threat. The skies above New York City crackled with an otherworldly energy as the massive ship descended through the atmosphere. Citizens stood transfixed, smartphones raised to capture humanity's first undeniable proof of extraterrestrial life. On the ground, a joint task force of military and scientific personnel awaited the alien vessel's touchdown in Central Park. Dr. Samira Patel, Earth's leading xenobiologist, felt her heart race as the ship's landing gear extended. Years of theoretical work were about to become reality. Beside her, General Marcus Stone's hand rested on his sidearm, a tense smile on his weathered face. "Easy does it, Doctor," he murmured. "Let's hope they're here to shake hands, not tentacles." With a thunderous roar that shook the surrounding buildings, the ship touched down. For several long moments, nothing happened. Then, with a hiss of depressurizing air, a ramp extended from the vessel's sleek hull. Three figures emerged, humanoid but distinctly alien. Their skin shimmered with an iridescent blue hue, and their eyes, four of them, arranged in a diamond pattern, blinked in the Earth's unfamiliar sunlight. Dr. Patel stepped forward, hands raised in what she hoped was a universal gesture of peace. "Welcome to Earth," she said, her voice steady despite her racing pulse. "We come in friendship and with open minds." The central alien, taller than the others, raised a hand in mirror of Samira's gesture. When it spoke, the words came not from its mouth, but seemed to resonate directly in the minds of all present. "Greetings, humans of Earth. We are the Zarkarian Confederation. We come not merely in peace, but in desperate need of your help." General Stone's eyebrows shot up. Of all the scenarios they'd prepared for, this wasn't one of them. Over the next few hours, as the world watched with bated breath, the Zarkarian delegation explained their dire situation. A ruthless species known as the Vexkar had been systematically conquering and strip-mining planets across the galaxy. The Zarkarian and other peaceful races had formed a coalition to resist, but they were losing ground rapidly. "But why come to us?" Dr. Patel asked, her scientific curiosity overriding her initial shock. "Surely there are more advanced civilizations that could help." The lead Zarkarian, who had introduced himself as Ambassador Xylix, tilted his head in what seemed to be their equivalent of a nod. "There are many technologically superior species, yes, but we have been observing your kind for some time. Humans possess something rare in the cosmos, an indomitable spirit, a creativity that defies logic, and a determination that borders on madness. These qualities may be the key to defeating the Vexkar." General Stone leaned forward, his tactical mind already whirring. "You're saying you want us to join your war?" "We are asking you to help save the galaxy," Xylix corrected. "The Vexkar will not stop. Eventually, they will come for Earth. By joining us now, you not only defend your own future, but potentially become the saviors of countless civilizations." As the implications sank in, a tense silence fell over the gathering. Dr. Patel's mind raced with the possibilities. Access to advanced alien technology, the opportunity to study diverse life forms, the chance to explore the stars. But the risks were equally staggering. General Stone broke the silence. "This isn't a decision we can make alone. We'll need to consult with world leaders, explain the situation to our people." Xylix nodded again. "We understand, but I must stress the urgency of our plight. Every moment we delay, another world falls to the Vexkar." Over the next week, Earth was a whirlwind of activity. Emergency sessions of the UN Security Council were called. Scientists and military strategists from around the globe converged to analyze the data provided by the Zarkarian. And in every home, bar, and public square, humans debated the monumental choice before them. Dr. Patel found herself at the center of it all, translating complex xenobiology reports into terms world leaders could understand. The Zarkarian biology suggests they're incapable of deception, she explained to a room full of grim-faced politicians. "Everything they've told us appears to be true." General Stone, meanwhile, was a cess. in Earth's military readiness. We're talking about a war on a scale we can barely comprehend, he told the Joint Chiefs. But if what the aliens say is true, we don't have much choice. It's fight now on our terms, or fight later with our backs against the wall. As the debates raged, something unexpected began to happen. Instead of panic or despair, a sense of purpose swept across humanity. The idea that Earth, long divided by petty conflicts, could unite to save the galaxy sparked something in the human spirit. Volunteers flooded military recruitment centers. Scientists worked around the clock, collaborating across borders to understand alien tech. A global poll showed overwhelming support for joining the Galactic Alliance. 10 days after the Zarkarian landing, the UN General Assembly convened for a historic vote. Dr. Patel and General Stone sat in the gallery, watching as representatives from every nation on Earth cast their ballots. The result was nearly unanimous. Earth would join the fight against the Vexcar. As they left the UN building, Dr. Patel turned to General Stone. "Are we ready for this?" she asked, the weight of the moment finally hitting her. The general's face was grim but determined. "Ready? Hell no. But that's never stopped humanity before. We'll adapt, we'll innovate, and by God, we'll win." As if on cue, the sky lit up with a brilliant flash. More Zarkarian ships were arriving, ready to begin the monumental task of preparing Earth for interstellar war. Dr. Patel looked up at the alien vessels, then at the faces of the people around her. Excited, scared, but above all, resolute. For the first time since the Zarkarian arrived, she allowed herself to smile. Humanity was about to take its first steps into a larger universe, and if the galaxy thought it was ready for humans, it had another thing coming: the human factor. The Galactic Alliance Command Center orbited serenely above a gas giant in the Proxima Centauri system. Inside, however, the atmosphere was anything but serene. Beings from a dozen different species bustled about, their tentacles, appendages, and in some cases, energy fields, manipulating holographic displays and intricate control panels. At the center of this controlled chaos stood Commander Ilara Chen, her dark hair pulled back in a tight bun, her Earth Force uniform crisp despite the long hours she'd been on duty. Next to her, towering nearly 2 meters tall, was her Zarkarian second-in-command, Exilven. "Status report," Ilara barked, her eyes scanning the main view screen. Zilven's 4 eyes blinked in sequence, a gesture Ilara had learned indicated mild frustration. "The Vexcar have pushed through our defenses in the Orion Arm. 3 more systems have fallen in the last solar cycle." Ilara's jaw clenched. 6 months into humanity's involvement in the Galactic War, and they were still on the back foot. The Vexcar's technology and numbers seemed overwhelming. But if there was one thing humans excelled at, it was beating impossible odds. "What about Project Trojan?" she asked, referring to the covert operation she proposed weeks ago. Zilvin's skin rippled, the Zarkarian equivalent of a sigh. "The Council is hesitant. They believe the risk outweighs the potential gain." Ilara spun to face her alien colleague, fire in her eyes. "With all due respect to the Council, they're not the ones watching good soldiers die every day. We need to take risks, or this war is already lost." Before Exilven could respond, an alarm blared through the command center. A young human ensign called out, "Commander, Vexcar ships dropping out of hyperspace. They found us." Ilara's mind raced. The command center's location was supposed to be secret. How had the enemy found them? There was no time to evacuate. "Battle stations," she ordered. "Exilven, get me a line to Earth. We're going to need reinforcements." As the crew scrambled to defensive positions, Ilara couldn't help but feel a grim smile tugging at her lips. Finally, a chance to show the Alliance what humans could really do. The battle that followed would later be known as the Miracle at Proxima Centauri. Outnumbered 10-1, the Alliance forces, led by Ilara's unorthodox tactics, managed to hold off the Vexcar assault for 3 grueling days. Human pilots, flying retrofitted Earth fighters alongside alien craft, pulled off maneuvers that their allies had deemed impossible. On the ground, a mixed squad of human Marines and Zarkarian warriors repelled boarding parties with a combination of advanced energy weapons and good old-fashioned human ingenuity. Private Sarah O'Malley famously jury-rigged a force field generator and a coffee maker to create an improvised stun grenade that left a platoon of Vexcar troops twitching on the deck. As the battle raged, word of the valiant stand spread throughout Alliance space. Reinforcements began to arrive. Not just the requested Earth ships, but vessels from a dozen alien races, some of whom had previously been hesitant to commit to the war effort. By the time the last Vexcar ship retreated, the command center was battered but intact, and the legend of human tenacity had spread across the stars. In the aftermath, as repair crews worked to patch hull breaches and medical teams tended to the wounded, Ilara found herself summoned to a meeting with the Galactic Alliance Council. The holograms of a dozen alien leaders shimmered before her, their expressions, on those who had recognizable faces, a mix of awe and concern. The Arcturian representative, a being of pure energy contained within a crystalline matrix, spoke first. "Commander Chen, your actions at Proxima Centauri were unprecedented. You violated no less than 15 established combat protocols." Ilara stood at attention, chin high. "With respect, Counselor, I did what was necessary to save lives and protect a critical Alliance asset." "Indeed," rumbled Grothar, the Ursine leader of the Ursai Collective. "And in doing so, you may have changed the course of this war. The question is, can we trust humans to wield such creativity responsibly?" Kevzilvan, standing beside Ilara, stepped forward. "If I may, Council members, in my time working with Commander Chen and other humans, I've observed something unique. Their disregard for established protocols isn't born of arrogance or ignorance, but from an ability to see possibilities where others see only obstacles. It is most perplexing, but undeniably effective." The council chamber fell silent as the alien leaders contemplated this. Finally, the Zarkarian Prime Speaker addressed Ilara directly. "Commander Chen, your species continues to surprise us. We brought you into this alliance hoping for fresh perspectives, but we underestimated just how disruptive those perspectives would be." Ilara felt her heart race. Was this a reprimand or a commendation? The Prime Speaker continued, "It has become clear that traditional tactics will not win this war. Therefore, the Council has decided to establish a new division within our military structure. Commander Chen, you will lead this new, unconventional warfare division. Your mandate will be to think human." As the implications of this decision sank in, Ilara struggled to maintain her composure. This was more than she could have hoped for, a chance to bring human ingenuity to bear on a galactic scale. "Thank you, Council," she said, her voice steady despite her excitement. "I won't let you down." As the meeting adjourned, and the holograms flickered out, Axetelvin turned to Ilara, his 4 eyes blinking rapidly in what she now recognized as amusement. "Congratulations, Commander. Though I fear you may come to regret teaching the rest of the galaxy to think human." Ilara laughed, the stress of the past few days finally breaking. "Oh, Axetelvin, we're just getting started. The Vexcar think they've seen human craziness. They ain't seen nothing yet." As they left the council chamber, Ilara's mind was already racing with possibilities. The coffee maker grenades were just the beginning. What could they do with alien tech and human out-of-the-box thinking? The possibilities were endless. For the first time since the war began, Ilara felt a genuine spark of hope. The galaxy had underestimated humanity, dismissed them as primitive newcomers. But now, they were starting to understand. Humans didn't play by the rules. They rewrote them. And in a war against an enemy like the Vexcar, that just might be the edge they needed to win. Turning the tide. The war room of the Unconventional Warfare Division buzzed with an energy that was uniquely human. Holographic displays showed battle simulations, alien tech schematics, and star charts, while the air was thick with the scent of coffee and the sound of heated debates. Commander Ilara Chen stood at the center of it all, her eyes darting from one display to another. 6 months had passed since the formation of her division, and while they'd had some successes, the Vexcar still held the upper hand. "All right, people," she called out, silencing the room. "The Vexcar have pushed into the Andromeda sector. We need ideas, and we need them now." Dr. Raj Patel, Earth's foremost xenotechnologist, stepped forward. "Commander, I think we've cracked something big. We've been analyzing the Vexcar's quantum communication network, and we believe we found a weakness." Ilara's eyebrows shot up. The Vexcar's instantaneous communication had been a major tactical advantage. "Go on." Raj grinned, his excitement palpable. "It's based on quantum entanglement, but they're using a very specific frequency to maintain coherence across vast distances. If we can disrupt that frequency, we could blind their entire fleet." Ilara finished, her mind racing with the possibilities. Selvin, who had become an integral part of the human-led team, clicked his mandibles thoughtfully. "An intriguing theory, Dr. Patel, but the energy required to disrupt quantum communications on a galactic scale would be astronomical." That's when Lieutenant Maria Suarez, a former ore miner from Mars, spoke up. "What if we didn't have to disrupt the whole galaxy at once? What if we could create a cascading effect?" All eyes turned to the lieutenant. Ilara nodded encouragingly. "Explain." Maria stepped up to the holodisplay, pulling up a map of known Vexcar territory. "Back in the Martian mines, we used to set up controlled cave-ins to access deeper veins. You start with one carefully placed charge, and the whole system comes down. What if we could do the same thing to their communication network?" For the next hour, the room was a flurry of activity as the team hashed out the details of what would become known as Operation Avalanche. The plan was audacious, borderline insane, and exactly the kind of thinking Ilara had come to expect from her human colleagues. They would need to infiltrate a Vexcar command hub, plant a device to disrupt their local quantum communications, and time it precisely with similar strikes across their territory. If it worked, it would create a cascade failure that would cripple the Vexcar's ability to coordinate their forces. As the plan took shape, Ilara couldn't help but feel a surge of pride. This was human ingenuity at its finest, taking disparate ideas from mining, quantum physics, and good old-fashioned sabotage, and combining them into something the enemy would never see coming. "It's a solid plan," Selvin said, his tone mixing admiration and concern. "But the risk. To pull this off, we'd need to insert teams deep behind enemy lines. The chances of success are—" "Never tell me the odds." Ilara cut him off with a grin. "We're human. Impossible odds are our specialty." The next few weeks were a blur of preparation. Alliance engineers worked around the clock to develop the quantum disruption devices. Special forces from a dozen species trained together, learning to operate as seamless units despite their physiological differences. Ilara found herself in countless meetings with the Alliance Council, arguing for resources and trying to convince skeptical alien leaders that this crazy human plan just might work. Finally, the day of reckoning arrived. Ilara stood on the bridge of the Alliance flagship, the Defiant Hope, watching as the strike teams departed for their targets. Each team was a mix of species, combining the unique strengths of each race. Humans, with their adaptability and out-of-the-box thinking, were at the core of each group. "All teams away," reported the tactical officer, a lithe Vesuvian whose skin shifting colors with anxiety. Ilara took a deep breath. Now we wait. The hours crawled by with agonizing slowness. Some teams reported success. Others went ominously silent. Ilara felt the weight of every life she'd sent into danger pressing down on her. Just as the tension was becoming unbearable, the main view screen lit up with urgent messages from across Alliance space. Vexcar ships were dropping out of formation, their movements becoming erratic. Entire fleets were losing coordination, becoming easy prey for Alliance forces. "It's working," Raj exclaimed, his eyes wide as he interpreted the incoming data. "The cascade effect is spreading faster than we predicted. The Vexcar communication network is collapsing." A cheer went up across the bridge, but Ilara remained focused. "Don't celebrate yet," she warned. "This is when they're most dangerous. Prepare for a counterattack." As if on cue, a massive Vexcar dreadnought dropped out of hyperspace directly in front of the Defiant Hope. It was the Worldender, the personal flagship of the Vexcar's Supreme Commander. "Evasive maneuvers," Ilara shouted, but she knew they were outgunned. The Worldender's main cannon began to glow with building energy. That's when a small battered ship shot past the Defiant Hope on a collision course with the Worldender. Ilara recognized it instantly. It was the transport that had carried Maria Suarez's strike team. "Suarez, what are you doing?" Ilara demanded over the comm. Maria's voice came back, tight with determination. "Finishing the job, Commander. Our team's disruptor was damaged, but it'll work if we can get close enough. It's been an honor serving with you." Before Ilara could respond, the transport slammed into the Worldender's hull, right at the base of its main cannon. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, a ripple of energy spread across the massive ship's surface. Its lights flickered and died, weapons powering down. The Defiant Hope's tactical officer shouted, "Commander, the Worldender's systems are going haywire. It's like their entire ship is eating itself from the inside out." Ilara understood immediately. The quantum disruption had interfaced with the Worldender's advanced systems in ways they hadn't anticipated. The most powerful ship in the Vexcar fleet had become its own worst enemy. "All ships, open fire," Ilara ordered. "Don't let this opportunity slip away." The space around them lit up with weapons fire as every Alliance ship in range unleashed hell on the crippled dreadnought. Within minutes, the mighty Worldender was reduced to a drifting hulk. As the dust settled and damage reports came in, the magnitude of what they'd accomplished began to sink in. The Vexcar's communication network was in shambles. Their supreme commander was dead or captured, and for the first time since the war began, the Alliance had seized the initiative. Ilara slumped into her command chair, exhaustion and elation warring within her. They'd done it. Against all odds, this ragtag group of humans and aliens had changed the course of the war. Zilvan approached, his normally stoic features showing clear signs of awe. "Commander," he said softly, "I believe the humans have a saying for moments like this. Humanity, fuck yeah." Ilara couldn't help but laugh. "Yeah. Okay, fine. Humanity, fuck yeah indeed." As the Alliance fleet regrouped and prepared to press their advantage, Ilara knew the war was far from over. The Vexcar would adapt, would come back with new tactics and technologies. But for the first time, she was certain they could win. Humanity had brought more than just numbers to this galactic conflict. They'd brought innovation, adaptability, and a stubborn refusal to accept defeat. And now, the entire galaxy was learning what it meant to think human. The tide had turned, and the stars themselves seemed to burn a little brighter with hope. The final stand. The mood in the Alliance Grand Strategy Chamber was tense. Holograms flickered, showing real-time updates from across the galaxy. For the past year, since Operation Avalanche, the tide of war had ebbed and flowed. The Vexcar, though crippled, had proven resilient. Commander Ilara Chen stood before the assembled leaders of the Alliance, her uniform crisp despite the weariness etched on her face. "The Vexcar are planning something big," she said, her voice cutting through the murmurs of the alien delegates. "Our intelligence suggests they're massing their remaining forces for a final, decisive strike." Grothar, the Ursai representative, growled low in his throat. "Do we know their target?" Ilara took a deep breath. "We do. All evidence points to one location: Earth." The chamber erupted in a cacophony of alien voices and translators. Earth, while strategically important, wasn't a core world of the Alliance. But the Vexcar's obsession with humanity had grown since Operation Avalanche. They see us as the linchpin, Ilara continued once the noise died down. Take out Earth, break the human spirit, and they think the rest of the Alliance will crumble. Exilvan, now a full member of the Alliance Council, stepped forward. Then we must mass our fleets to defend Earth. We cannot allo. No, Ilara interrupted, her voice firm. That's exactly what they're expecting. We have a different plan. With a wave of her hand, Ilara brought up a new hologram. It showed Earth, but not as it currently was. This Earth bristled with defenses, surrounded by a complex network of satellites and space stations. Operation Home Guard, Ilara explained. We've been working on this in secret for months. A combination of human ingenuity and the best technology from every Alliance race. Dr. Raj Patel stepped up beside her, eager to explain the technical details. The system uses a network of quantum-linked satellites to create a planet-wide defense grid. It can track and target incoming ships with unprecedented accuracy. But the real genius is in the power source. Raj zoomed in on one of the satellites. We've adapted Zarkarian zero-point energy tech, combined with Ursai gravitic focusing arrays. Each satellite can channel the energy of a small star for a brief moment. Anything caught in the beam, well, it won't be pretty. The council members murmured, a mix of awe and skepticism in their voices. Grothar spoke up again. This is impressive, Commander, but surely the Vexcar will detect such a system as they approach. Ilara allowed herself a small smile. That's the beauty of it. They won't, because right now, none of this exists. She let that sink in for a moment before continuing. We're going to build it right under their noses. The entire system, from scratch, in the week before their attack. The chamber erupted again, voices raised in disbelief and protest. Ilara waited patiently for the commotion to die down. I know it sounds impossible, she said, but that's what we do. That's what humanity brings to this alliance. We make the impossible happen. Over the next hour, Ilara laid out the plan in detail. It would require every resource the Alliance could spare, and a level of cooperation unprecedented in galactic history. Engineers from a dozen races would work alongside human construction crews. The entire population of Earth would be mobilized to assist in the effort. As the scope of the plan became clear, the mood in the chamber shifted from skepticism to cautious hope. This was audacity on a scale that even the Alliance's bravest strategists had never contemplated. Finally, the Zarkarian Prime Speaker rose. Commander Chen, when we first encountered humanity, we hoped you would bring a fresh perspective to our war effort. You have exceeded our wildest expectations. The Council approves your plan. Operation Home Guard will commence immediately. The next week was a blur of activity unlike anything Earth had ever seen. The skies filled with construction ships and swarms of drones. Every major city became a staging ground for the production of vital components. Ilara found herself constantly on the move, coordinating efforts across the globe. In New York, she watched as the Chrysler Building was converted into a control center for the Eastern Seaboard Defense Grid. In Beijing, she helped calibrate the quantum links for the Asian satellite network. And in a secret facility beneath the Sahara, she oversaw the final assembly of the zero-point energy cores that would power the entire system. Throughout it all, the people of Earth rose to the challenge with a spirit that amazed their alien allies. Retired engineers came out of retirement to lend their expertise. Students worked tirelessly to assemble complex circuitry. Even children got involved, their small hands perfect for intricate wiring work. As the deadline approached, Ilara found a rare moment of quiet on the observation deck of the International Space Station. Earth hung below, a blue marble wrapped in a delicate web of new defenses. Beside her stood Exilvan, his 4 eyes blinking in what she now recognized as awe. It's beautiful, the alien said softly. I never thought I'd see anything like this. Ilara nodded, feeling a lump in her throat. This is humanity at its best. When our backs are against the wall, when the odds seem impossible, That's when we shine the brightest. Exilvin turned to her, his expression serious. The Vexcar are coming. Our long-range sensors have detected their fleet entering the solar system. Are we ready? Ilara took a deep breath, steeling herself for what was to come. As ready as we'll ever be. It's time to show the Vexcar what happens when you back humanity into a corner. The call went out across the Earth and to Alliance ships hidden throughout the solar system. The Vexcar fleet, thousands of ships strong, dropped out of faster-than-light travel just beyond the orbit of Mars. For a moment, there was an eerie calm. The Vexcar, no doubt confused by the lack of defensive fleets, hesitated. Then, with a silent command from Ilara, Operation Home Guard sprang to life. The defense grid powered up, satellites orienting themselves with mechanical precision. On the surface of the Earth, millions held their breath. The Vexcar fleet surged forward, and the battle for Earth began. The opening salvos were beyond anything Ilara had imagined. Beams of focused energy lanced out from the defense grid, each one carrying the power of a small star. Vexcar ships vaporized by the dozens, their advanced shields useless against the onslaught. But the Vexcar were not unprepared. They launched swarms of smaller craft, seeking to overwhelm the grid through sheer numbers. That's when the second phase of Ilara's plan kicked in. All across Earth, in town squares and sports stadiums, ordinary citizens manned control stations linked to the defense grid. Using interfaces designed to mimic popular video games, they took control of point defense systems, swatting Vexcar fighters out of the sky with uncanny accuracy. The battle raged for hours, the sky above Earth lit by the constant flashes of weapons fire and exploding ships. Ilara coordinated it all from a bunker deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, her mind racing to stay ahead of the Vexcar's tactics. Just when it seemed the defense grid might be overwhelmed, the final part of the plan unfolded. Alliance ships, hidden in the shadow of Earth's moon, launched a surprise attack on the Vexcar's rear. Caught between the hammer of the Alliance fleet and the anvil of Earth's defenses, the invaders began to falter. As the last Vexcar dreadnought exploded in a brilliant flash, a cheer went up from every corner of the planet. They had done it. Against all odds, humanity and its allies had repelled the greatest threat the galaxy had ever known. Ilara slumped in her chair, exhaustion and elation warring within her. A hand on her shoulder made her look up. It was Kylvin, his alien features somehow managing to convey both pride and amusement. "Well, Commander," he said, "I believe it's customary in situations like this for humans to say, 'We kicked their asses.'" Ilara couldn't help but laugh. "Yeah, Exilvan. We kicked their asses good." As the sun rose on a new day, the people of Earth emerged from shelters to see their planet, still standing, still free. And in orbit above them, the remnants of the Vexcar fleet drifted lifelessly, a testament to what humanity could accomplish when united with the galaxy against a common foe. The war wasn't over. There would be pockets of resistance to mop up, planets to liberate. But in that moment, as news of Earth's victory spread across the stars, the entire galaxy learned a valuable lesson. Never underestimate humanity. When the chips are down and the stakes are highest, that's when they're at their best. And God help anyone who stands in their way. A new era dawns. The Grand Hall of the United Nations headquarters in New York City buzzed with an energy unlike anything in its long history. Delegates from every nation on Earth mingled with representatives from 100 alien worlds. The air was filled with a cacophony of languages, translator devices working overtime to keep up with the excited chatter. At the center of it all stood Commander Ilara Chen, now Admiral Chen, her new rank insignia gleaming on her dress uniform. Beside her, Exilvan towered over most of the attendees, his four eyes constantly scanning the room in what Ilara now recognized as wonderment rather than wariness. "I never thought I'd see the day," Exilvan said, his voice low. "A gathering like this, it would have been unthinkable before the war." Ilara nodded, a small smile playing on her lips. "That's humanity for you. We have a knack for making the unthinkable happen. It had been 6 months since the Battle of Earth, 6 months of rapid change across the galaxy. The defeat of the Vexcar had left a power vacuum, and humanity, to the surprise of many, had stepped up to fill it. Earth had become the de facto capital of the new Galactic Union, a more integrated and cooperative successor to the old alliance. Human innovation, combined with alien technology, was ushering in an unprecedented era of progress and discovery. The sound of a gavel brought the assembly to order. Secretary General Amina Kouri, a statuesque woman from Nigeria, took the podium. Distinguished delegates, honored guests, citizens of Earth, and our galactic neighbors, she began, her voice carrying across the hall. We stand here today at the dawn of a new era, an era of cooperation, of shared progress, of infinite possibilities. As Kouri continued her speech, Ilara found her mind wandering back over the events that had led to this moment. The desperate battles, the seemingly impossible odds, the moments of doubt and triumph. It all seemed like a lifetime ago. And now, Kouri was saying, it is my great honor to introduce the being who, more than any other, embodies the spirit of this new era, the architect of our victory, the bridge between humanity and the stars, Admiral Ilara Chen. A round of applause, accompanied by various alien sounds of approval, filled the hall as Ilara made her way to the podium. She took a deep breath, looking out over the sea of faces, human and alien alike, all watching her expectantly. Thank you, Madam Secretary General, Ilara began. Honored delegates, friends, fellow sentients, I stand before you today not as a conqueror, not as a hero, but as a reminder of what we can achieve when we come together, when we combine our strengths and overcome our differences. She paused, letting her words sink in. The Vexcar thought they could break us. They saw our divisions, our conflicts, and thought us weak. But they didn't understand what truly makes humanity strong. It's not our technology, not our resources. It's our spirit, our ability to adapt, to innovate, to find hope in the darkest of times. Ilara gestured to the alien delegates, and it's our ability to reach out, to form bonds across the stars. Each of you brought something unique to our alliance. The wisdom of the Zarkarian, the strength of the Ursai, the scientific brilliance of the Arcturians. Together, we proved that the whole can be greater than the sum of its parts. As she spoke, holographic displays came to life around the hall, showing images from across the galaxy. Humans and aliens working side by side to rebuild war-torn worlds. New technologies sprouting from the collaboration of diverse minds. Starships embarking on missions of exploration, pushing the boundaries of known space. But our work is not done, Ilara continued, her voice growing more passionate. The defeat of the Vexcar was not an end, but a beginning. We face new challenges, reconstructing devastated worlds, integrating our diverse cultures, ensuring that the peace we've won is a lasting one. She leaned forward, her eyes sweeping across the assembly. And there are still threats out there. The galaxy is vast, and we've only scratched the surface of its mysteries. But I have faith in humanity, faith in our allies, faith in the spirit of cooperation that brought us through our darkest hour. Ilara straightened, her voice ringing out clear and strong. So let us go forward together. Let us build a future where the boundaries between our species fade away, where the only limits are those of our imagination. Let us create a galaxy where every being, no matter their origin, can reach for the stars and find a hand reaching back to help them up. As Ilara finished her speech, the hall erupted in applause. Humans and aliens alike rose to their feet, the sound of their approval drowning out everything else. In that moment, the divisions of the past seemed to melt away, replaced by a shared vision of the future. Later, as the formal proceedings gave way to celebration, Ilara found a quiet moment with Sylvan on a balcony overlooking the New York skyline. The city glittered below them, its familiar outline now augmented by alien architecture and advanced technology. You know, Sylvan said, his tone thoughtful. "When we first encountered humans, we thought you might be the key to defeating the Vexcar. We never imagined you'd end up reshaping the entire galaxy." Ilara chuckled. "To be fair, neither did we. We were just trying to survive, to protect our home. Everything else, it just kind of snowballed from there." Sylvan's skin rippled in what Ilara had learned was the Zarkarian equivalent of laughter. Snowballed. Yes, that seems an apt description for humanity's effect on galactic affairs. They stood in companionable silence for a moment, watching as a group of anti-gravity vehicles zipped between the skyscrapers, their pilots a mix of humans and various alien species. "What do you think the future holds, Ilara?" Exilvan asked, using her first name, a sign of how far their relationship had come. Ilara took a deep breath, considering the question. "Honestly, I have no idea. And that's what excites me. For the first time in, well, maybe ever, the future is wide open. We've got the whole galaxy to explore, new civilizations to meet, technologies beyond our wildest dreams to discover." She turned to her alien friend, a glint of mischief in her eye. "One thing's for sure, though. It won't be boring. Humanity's out among the stars now, and the universe better be ready for us." Exelvan made a sound that might have been a sigh, but his 4 eyes twinkled with amusement. "Indeed, may the cosmos have mercy on us all." As they shared a laugh, a streak of light caught Ilara's attention. Looking up, she saw a starship breaking atmosphere, its hull gleaming in the sunlight. It was the Defiant Hope, refitted and ready for a new mission of exploration. Watching it climb towards the stars, Ilara felt a familiar thrill of excitement. The war was over, but humanity's greatest adventure was just beginning. And she, for one, couldn't wait to see what was out there, waiting to be discovered. The galaxy had trembled in fear of the Vexcar, but it was humanity who had changed everything. Not through conquest or domination, but through resilience, innovation, and an unbreakable spirit. As Earth took its place at the center of a new galactic civilization, one thing was clear: the stars themselves would never be the same again.